today I'm going to use my lunch break to review a couple of CDs. I have a lot of CDs. Just thought this would be something fun to do. So my name is Mike. Thanks for watching. So I've got a couple CDs here. The first one we're going to go ahead and look at is Superchunk. The album is No Pocky for Kitty. So I remember buying this sometime in high school, I believe. This would have been, I don't know, 94 probably. I didn't have a lot of money before then. I didn't have a job, so it's probably about when I bought it. So this album is from 1991. Here's the little liner thing. It's not super in-depth. It's just a little one-page thing. This was recorded in 91. At this point, it was Laura, Jim, and Mac with a guy named Chuck on the drums. So I'm guessing this was before John Wooster was in the band. It had a different guy. Here's what the CD looks like. It's got sort of that same sort of graphic on the front of a cat punching a guy, which I guess is a thing. I went ahead and took a listen to this CD, and it's a good CD, right? It was released on Matador Records, so it would have been kind of a small release, but you know, there are a couple really good songs on here. One interesting thing about this, you know, as I listened to it, I didn't hear a lot of curse words. So if you want to listen to this at work or with your kids, I think it's probably safe. I went ahead and listened to it in order. We live in a YouTube society where we just kind of click and pick the songs we want to hear. And so for this series of reviews, I decided to listen to all these CDs again in order. And one thing that really got me was when I got to song 5, Punch Me Harder. It just kind of kicked the album into high gear, I feel like, and then Sprung a Leak and 30 Extra were just, you know, good follow-ups. And so it's a good album. I like it. I have most of the Superchunk stuff. I think I've got all of it, but there's probably some things I don't have. And you know, it was really good. One thing that I really do, one song that I thought was really interesting was the last song, Throwing Things. That one, I say, it was the most Superchunk of all the Superchunk songs on here. So as you listen to the later albums, I feel like that one could have fit in anywhere. Whereas these other songs were a little bit more raw, a little bit more garage, I guess. So that's Superchunk, No Pocky for Kitty. If you're a Superchunk fan, you probably already have it. But you know, I would at least give it a listen. The next album I decided to review here is the Epoxies, and it's just the name of the album is also the Epoxies. So this is a band that would have been from the early 2000s. They're from Portland, Oregon. They're really cool. They used keyboard and or the synthesizer, and they just had a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of sort of electronic sounding, but really fun. Here is the album's cover. What's this? Epoxies, and it's got the band here on it. And then on the little cover is this was released by Dirt Nap Records, so again a small label. And so they didn't put a lot into the liner. So it's not much, it just shows the songs and the runtime and who's in the band. This particular copy right here, my wife bought this at an Epoxy show, and so it was signed by Roxy Epoxy, who is the lead singer, and she's got really good vocals. I really enjoy hearing her sing. You know, again, here's the CD cover. It's got like an oil derrick on it. So a lot of good songs here. Some of these do have some sort of mature sort of themes. So if you're listening at work or with your kids, you might want to listen to some of the lyrics beforehand and maybe steer clear of some of those songs. But it's really awesome. Like you know, it's it kind of falls under the punk genre of the early 2000s, although it really harkens back more to sort of 80s synthesizer pop, but with a little bit edgier. I really do like it. One of my favorite songs on the album is "Losing Control." It's just amazing. And "Molded Plastic's" a good one. "Need More Time." I know that they provided a song or two for in the early 2000s. Some punk bands put together an album called "Rock Against Bush," and I believe they put a song or two on that sort of compilation. So you may have heard "Need More Time." I think that was their biggest hit, at least from this album. So again, this album's from 2002. Really good listen. I suggest it. Last one I'm going to look at here is Jimi Hendrix, "Axis Bold as Love." And this is the sort of remastered version. So those of you who had the other one will recognize this cover. So that was the original cover. From what I understand, they had an artist put this cover together, and they told Jimi about it, and they said, "We're going to do an Indian cover," and he thought that was kind of cool because he was part Cherokee, and he thought Native American Indian. Instead, it was India Indian, and so I don't know. India was really kind of popular at the time. The Beatles had an India phase and stuff like that, and so they did that. With the remastered cover, they took a picture of Jimi, so it doesn't have the rest of the band on it, and kind of stylized it. The booklet is real thick here. It's got a lot of material about each and every song, which is great. And we've got some pictures of Jimi and Noel and Mitch Mitchell, so who's their great drummer. And then here the disc has kind of the same cover. It's really kind of cool looking. And then here's the original picture that they took and sort of stylized. This is a good album. This was the second studio album for Jimi Hendrix Experience. Some good songs through here. I feel like all of his albums were very different from each other. The first one was a lot more, I think, sort of driven by sort of the acid rock sort of thing. There was some blues in it, and again, there's some blues. He obviously was very influenced by the blues, and so you see that a lot through his albums. But this one was, it just sounds different. One of my favorite songs is Spanish Castle Magic, Castles Made of Sand is the one I was thinking of. It tells such an interesting story about people who think that that whatever is going to last forever, and then like a sand castle on the castles made of sand, like a sand castle on the beach, it washes away, and so it kind of talks about the impermanence of life. But my favorite song on this album, and one of my favorite songs of all time, is "One Rainy Wish," and there's a part in it, and you have to hear it. So this is YouTube, so if you I don't even care if you stop the video here and go look up this song and play it. There's a part in it where there's this kind of build up, and then he sings just this powerful guitar driven part that is my favorite 20 seconds of any song in existence. So Axis Bold as Love, this is not new. This was released in 1967. So it's been around a long time. Most of you probably have this or have heard it, but it's definitely worth a listen. One interesting thing, I can't remember if it was this album, but I remember there was some of his albums, they had to release a note saying some of the sound effects you're going to hear are intentional. It doesn't mean that your record was warped. Don't return to the store. So because he was experimental as far as like noise and things like that, and so So, that has some of this on it as well. Love it. Hope you guys at least give a couple of listens. So again, 3 albums I talked about today were Superchunk, No Pocky for Kitty, the Epoxies, and Axis Bold as Love by Jimi Hendrix Experience. I hope you enjoyed this. As I said, I'm going to be doing these on my lunch break. I don't think anybody's actually going to watch, but it's fun for me. All right, thanks.